Hi everyone, you are on module 21 and this is the third task. I hope you have got a chance to go through your word bank and update all the meanings on it. Please make sure that every week you check your word bank once and add all the important definitions in it. And also try to use the keywords in your answers while you're doing the assignments. So we'll start with recalling some important objectives that we had studied in the last week. That is, what are the different types of microscopes and two important features of microscopes. So when we want to begin with that, I want you to pause the video and try to recall the different parts of a compound microscope. You had read about it in the last few modules. Try to recall what the name of each part is. Thank you for pausing. I'll now show you the answer. So let me know how many parts of the compound microscope you got right and what are the parts that you couldn't remember or recall. And make sure that you are thorough with this structure because during your practicals you'll have to handle the compound microscope, and it really helps if you know the parts easily and you know the functions of each part. Okay, so going forward with the two important features that we studied about light microscope, that is starting with the fact that cells are being so tiny and human eye having the ability to view anything that is above 100 micrometer in size, we fail to see any cellular structure or even cells. Neither can we visualize the bacterial cell nor a plant or animal cell, because you can see their sizes are smaller than the resolution of a human eye. So when I say resolution, what do I actually mean? So when I say that human eye has a resolution of 100 micrometer, that means if objects are closer than 100 micrometer, then our eye won't be able to distinguish them. Our eye will assume that that is a single object. So we can only distinguish big cells. We cannot distinguish cells smaller than 100 micrometer in size. So that means that the resolution of the human eye is 100 micrometer. So basically resolution means how distinctly we can separate two points which are very close to each other. Another property of microscopes are, due to resolution, we are able to actually study about the ultrastructure of cells. So ultrastructure basically means inside the cell what are the smaller details of the cell, or what are the subcellular parts or components of the cell. We can study that, and that is only because of the resolution property of the microscope. Because if the resolution is low, if you keep on magnifying the image, the quality of the image won't be clear. So while talking about resolution, I told another important feature, that is magnification. So magnification is the property of the microscope to be able to make the image larger than the actual size. So to see smaller objects and make it larger than 100 micrometer, we use the lenses in the microscope, and for that the magnifying property of the microscope is important. Then we had also studied about three different kinds of microscope. Broadly, there are two different kinds: the compound or the light microscope and the electron microscope. The compound microscope uses the light, visible light, as the radiation. So if light falls on the specimen, it reflects and goes back to the human eye, which is able to see the specimen in the form of an image. The transmission electron microscope actually is able to see the image of the specimen in the electron microscope, because electron beams fall on the specimen, bounce or fall on the specimen and pass through, transmit through the specimen and fall on a photographic plate. So that photographic plate converts electronic signals into a computer screen and the image is seen on the screen. The third type that we studied was the scanning electron microscope, which actually scans. That means here the electron beams will fall on your specimen, it will reflect, and when it reflects, it will fall on a photographic plate. And that photographic plate will convert electron signals or the bounced electron beams in the form of an electronic image. So basic physics is being applied over here. The radiation falls on your specimen. It will either pass through the specimen or it will reflect. If it is passing through, then this principle is being used by your light microscope and your transmission electron microscope. If the electron beam is falling on the specimen and reflecting, and the reflected beam is being captured to get the image, then it is the scanning electron microscope. So in the previous module, you had studied about comparison between these two important microscopes, light and electron microscope. So I wanted to pause over here and quickly stop and jot whatever you remember about the benefits and disadvantages of light microscope and the advantages and disadvantages of electron microscope. You can pause the video now. Okay, thank you for pausing, and now I'll be sharing the answers. Let's see first what are the advantages of light microscope. Of course, because they are easily available and cheap to buy, in most school laboratories we have the light microscope. Plus, they don't depend upon electricity. Some light microscopes have a light bulb in the lower half of the microscope. For that, very little amount of electrical dependency is there. Preparing the specimen and mounting them on the slide is not a very complicated process, and you can observe both living as well as dead samples. Another benefit is if you apply stain or if your sample has its own color, you can actually view the natural color through light microscope. Disadvantages of electron microscope. So now compare the advantages of light microscope with disadvantages of the electron microscope. On the contrary, the electron microscope is known for its expensive nature, and it's expensive to maintain as well as it's expensive to operate. You need to have very trained professionals who are skilled enough and who have studied this field to operate it. Preparing the specimen is not very easy because electron microscopes you will be studying in the future tasks in this week, that they require a certain environment in which you need to keep your specimen. Otherwise, the electron beams will not fall on the specimen. Another problem is you cannot observe living specimens in an electron microscope. So electron microscope always shows you the image of something that is either non-living or dead. Also, electron microscopes do not use visible light, so you will not be able to see the color, real color of your specimen through electron microscope. Most of the time the images are black and white, and if you want to see a colored image, those are false colors added to the electronic image on the computer screen. Disadvantages, let's take a look. Of course, resolution is low because light microscope depends upon visible light, and visible light's wavelength is lesser than the electron. The visible light's wavelength is very high, so the energy is low, so the size of the waves are very big, and they will not be able to detect smaller specimen in case of light microscope. Depth of field is restricted. You don't actually need to understand what depth of field means, but basically it means to say that how contrasting your specimen's color is from the background. And also magnification will be limited because resolution is limited. So if you keep on enlarging the image, the quality of the image goes down and the image starts appearing hazy or less clear. Finally, advantages. On the other hand, electron microscope has a very high resolution and greater depth of field and high magnification. Because the resolution is high, you can magnify the image up to 2,50,000 times or about 3 lakhs times, and still the image will remain clear and you can see more details. So, quick recap on what is the meaning of the term magnification of microscope. So we know that microscopes have at least two lenses through which the light passes before you see the image. One is near your eye, that is the eyepiece lens. It's also called the eye lens, and the second one is called the objective lens, which is in the nose piece of your microscope. So the power of the eyepiece times the power of the objective lens will give you the total magnification in which you are viewing your image. So if your eyepiece is 10 times and your if your eyepiece is 10 times and the objective is 100 times, then you're viewing the object specimen 1000 times magnified. So you just multiply both the powers. So here are some points to recall about magnification. That is, what's the formula? M is equal to I by A, we all know. I means size of the image and A means the size of the specimen, that is the actual size. Magnification obtained with a light and compound microscope depends on the lenses that you use, and actually there is no limit to magnification. You can keep on magnifying the image. What is the issue is that if your resolution is low, then after one point of time your image will go on magnifying, but there will be no clarity. Okay, one can double the image size, but the details will no longer be greater. Quick recap on what is resolution. So here you can see in the first image you can see one big green spot, and if you sometimes notice, the image of two spots in a normal light microscope will appear as one. So it's a degree to which the microscope is able to distinguish two objects that are very close to each other. So in our reading in the past module, we studied that in the light microscope we cannot detect ribosomes in the cell, but we can detect something as large as a mitochondria in the cell. That's because ribosomes diameters are just 25 nanometer, but light microscope can only detect something which has minimum distance of or diameter of 200 nanometer. Whereas electron microscopes use electron beams which have very short wavelength, so they can detect anything as if there are two objects as close as 0.5 nanometer, electron microscope can still identify that these are two objects, not one. So that's why electron microscope images also have better resolution as well as better magnification. So here is an example of a cell. You can see what the difference is between a size of a mitochondria with a ribosome. And with just light as a visible spectrum, we cannot differentiate a ribosome from rest of the cytoplasm. But we can do that with an electron microscope. With this, our recap for types of microscope, magnification and resolution ends.